Mr. Troy Baker. Keep it going.
Here's what I love. All of these people right here all watched me stand right there awkwardly waiting to walk out. What are you all afraid of?
Yeah, I can squint up.
No batting for the Los Angeles Dodgers. This is a hell of a... I sound amazing on this microphone. Who's the audio guy? Who's the sound guy?
It's Michael.
I love you. My goodness.
Yeah, Michael's DJing and also designed the set.
No. Hold on. We'll wait.
Yes. Oh, okay. Hi.
You thought it was Sam's panel, didn't you? You're like, well, I'm already here. I would have done the same thing. Hi, Claire.
Hello, Troy. It's nice to see you.
I want to be as close to you as humanly possible.
We look like we belong on the set, I think.
Yeah, I'm blending in with the couch.
It's like he's got no...
He has no legs!
He has no legs. It's good to see you.
It's good to see you too. Well, last time I saw you...
It was LA Comic Con.
LA Comic Con.
It was. That was good. It was on a Sunday, and I felt like you were giving a sermon.
Dude, I come with some strong youth pastor vibes, and it's not intentional. It was the way that I raised, and I just can't quite get the church out of me. Anybody else raised in church? Okay, keep your hand up if you've deconstructed. You know what I mean. What's up? There's my people. You start defining yourself as, I'm very spiritual now. And your friends go, are you going to fuck, dude? It's just weird. It's what happens when you still read the Bible, but you also go to Whole Foods and you have logic.
So it's very confusing.
It's very confusing.
Not logical at all.
Do you know who Pete Holmes is? You guys know who Pete Holmes is? Okay.
Yeah, I've got some.
So Pete Holmes is like my guru. He's a dear friend, but he's also the person that I look at and go, yeah, that, just that. He is leagues ahead of me as far as his own spirituality and his evolution and everything. But for a lot of us who grew up in church, there's who experiences a disproportionate amount of guilt and shame? Okay. I'm amongst my people. Yeah, did you ever think that if you did something wrong, if you sinned, we'll use that word, sinned, something bad was going to happen, like a plane was going to fall out of the sky, right? Isn't that messed up? How about this? We're going to just jump straight into it.
Let's go. We're going straight in. This is great.
This is weird. And by the way, I don't begrudge anyone who still holds to traditional Judeo-Christian values at all. I don't care. We're all trying to figure out what this is, especially right now, what is going on, right? So we're all just kind of struggling and grasping, trying to figure out what it is. I have a 6-year-old, almost 7-year-old boy. When he was 4, I'm going to say that again. When he was 4, he goes to a great school. It's about across the street. So it's very convenient. It's a great education. He likes it. It's Passion Week. So he comes home, we're putting him down to bed, and he goes, hey, Dad. I'm like, yeah, bud. Did you know that Jesus was defeated? Now, defeated is our code word for killed. And I'm like, I have heard that story, yeah. And he goes, but they took roses? But not the rose, just the sticky part. And I'm like, uh-huh. And they pushed it into his head. I'm like, I'm going to kill his teacher. I started thinking about this. I was like, if I walked into a first grade class, not even a kindergarten class, and said, okay, students, this is the Zapruder film, I would be arrested. And so I started thinking about this as wow, I grew up at the age of 4 or 5 understanding murder, and also the proliferation of a story about murder for manipulation emotions. I was like, oh my God. So I'm unpacking that as a 49-year-old. And you guys are all my catharsis.
Welcome to therapy.
Now let's talk about The Last of Us.
The couch is long enough if you want to lie down.
Dude, I'm serious. Here's what I don't understand. My mom...
Please do tell me about your mother,
Yeah,
Troy.
I don't necessarily think it's my mom. I think it's just kind of all moms. All of us have a mom, I think. And some of us have 2 moms. And that's even cool. But I'm trying to figure out, how does that apply to... Oh, you're all still here.
I was like...
They're at this point now, Claire. It's
we're going. I was like, okay, look. Well,
All right.
we'll ask some questions about the work, but I also want to talk about music as well, because the first time that Troy and I met was pre-COVID. I think it was Manchester, somewhere like that, and I think we started talking about Jeff Buckley.
Yeah.
And you were like, "You like Jeff Buckley?" I was like, "Yeah." I had a string quartet for my I'm now divorced, but it was the song "Last Goodbye" by Jeff Buckley, so that is probably prophetic.
Yeah.
He is no longer in the picture, but "Last Goodbye" was playing as we kind of got him to do a sort of string quartet version of Jeff Buckley's "Last Goodbye." I love Jeff Buckley so much.
So do I. Do you guys know who Jeff Buckley is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you don't, I've never had a relationship with an album or an artist like this. At the time when I first discovered him, I was in a band, and my drummer was like, "You really should listen to Jeff Buckley." And so he let me borrow his CD, and I put his CD into the car stereo of my vehicle to show you how long ago this was. And I listened to it, and I damn near broke the thing. I wore it out listening to it over and over and over again, and I called him. I was like, "Dude, next time this guy comes to town, we have to go see him." And he goes, "He's dead." And I went, "Wait, what?" He goes, "Dude, he died like 10 years ago." And wait, what happened? But I cried because I've never had a relationship with that. I was like, realizing that the ephemeral nature of music and how important it is to listen to music and discover, and people go, "Oh, I came to it late." It's like, no, you came to it exactly when you should have. I still discover things my son is discovering Vivaldi. Like, that was written in the 18th century? Hundreds of years ago, or early 19th century. So, I mean, that is entombed now. His experience, like he wrote the Four Seasons as like a response to a really hard summer that they had. There were these major fires. So if you listen to the two movements of summer in the Four Seasons, they're a lament. They're not flowers and petals and blood. It's painful. And so like the ability for us to be able to reach into the past and still have such a deep connection to music is the same reason why I'm an actor. Is the same reason why I love telling stories in games. Ha 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 ha, I'm getting back on track.
Mm-hmm. And I've already got a question that will get you back on track. Look at us, professionals.
We are all of us storytellers. And you'll hear me say this all the time. All of us are storytellers. We're just telling our story in different ways. And the only problem that we have, the dissonance that we experience, is when we allow somebody else to write our story and they're completely unqualified. It's not that they're bad or they're evil or they're trying to harm you. They just can't tell your story as good as you can. And I think sometimes we forget that notion and we go, "Well, I don't know what to do." And so I hand the pen over to somebody else who may be a friend or a partner or a parent. And I expect them to write my story with the same amount of passion and vigor and visceralness that I want to write my story. And they can't because they're not you. They can't experience your experiences like you can. They don't have your sensors, your senses. They don't have your memories. They don't have your experience. And so when I take the pen out of their hand and I put it into mine, all of a sudden I may struggle. I'm writing something right now and I'm realizing very quickly the limits of my ability, and it's frustrating. But I can still write it and I go, nobody's going to understand this the way that I can. So I keep the pen in my hand. Cool. Hi.
Hi. I've got a question for you. I'm very curious about. So music was my first love before anything else. Playing guitar and singing and writing music. When I came to LA, I started taking acting classes just because I interview actors. So I wanted to understand the work. So I thought I'll take some acting classes. Did Meisner, did all sorts. But the way I understood reading words off the page was almost reading them like lyrics.
Me too.
Yeah, so I was wondering, I've spoken to other actors like that, but I know you do music as well.
Yeah.
Is that how you read? Because that's when I got into the emotion of, this is the word I need to pull out. This is the...
It's funny because the musician in me is very much in conflict with the actor. Because as a musician, I want to find the rhythm, and I want to find the cadence and the melody.
Yes.
And so those dialogue, like as you say, will become lyrics. But the problem with that is, it's not extemporaneous, and it's not organic, and it's very composed and rehearsed, and this word goes here, and this note goes here. And so for me as an actor, dialogue is the last thing that I worry about. I think about what is the scene, what is the story, what is the character. And a lot of times I will read just the stage direction. I won't even look at the dialogue. And I'll see if I can parse out what's happening in the scene. And if there's ever anything that I struggle with as an actor, I'm like, this scene doesn't make sense, or I want to change this, then I will go to my director, or I'll go to my writer, and I'll say, hey, this is bumping for me. Can you help me? And together we can sit down and go, either A, they go, sorry, this is something we haven't told you yet. Yeah, this has completely changed, and now this line is in reference to this thing. I'm like, oh, okay, now it makes sense. Now I'm no longer in conflict. Or it can be, that's actually a really good point. We didn't think about this. This is probably left over from some older version of the script. So thank you for pointing that out for me. Let's change that. So dialogue is the last thing that I worry about. It doesn't matter. And as a director now, I have a lot of actors that come to me that they're really just trying to make sure you understand the words. And I'm like, first of all, you're boring the shit out of me. This is, you're acting these words, and that's not how people are. Everything is coming to us in the moment live. And so many times, who's an actor in here? Boom, I love that your hand went up as fast as it did. You right there, second row. Watch this, who's an actor? His hand went up so fast. Who wants to be an actor? Why do more hands come up? The only reason why you didn't raise your hand the first time is because somebody told me you can't or you shouldn't do it, and you believed them. Who's an actor? Who wants to be an actor? Take direction. There we go. Congratulations, you're an actor, okay? The only difference between an amateur and a professional is what? Money. Who said it? Money. I hate money. I hate it so much right now. I hate it so much. It is the only thing that is the conflict in most of our lives. It is the source of most of the conflict in our lives right now. This whole discussion of art and AI, you tell me one argument against AI that has nothing to do with money. No? That's what I thought. It's just the money. You had one? Go for it. Tell me how you don't. How? It can't. Does it keep you from doing it? Get out there and paint. Get out there and write. Get out there and sing. Get out there and act. It's not preventing you from doing anything. By the way, I'm not like championing for AI, but I refuse to accept that a robot can do my job. Now, sorry.
No. Look, we've done many panels together. This is the easiest job with Troy. So easy for me.
Here's the other side of my face. There are things that I want to do. There are things that, who's a filmmaker? I love you so much. What's your name? Teddy? Everybody watch out for Teddy. Teddy's on fire.
This guy's pretty enthusiastic too.
You as well? What's your name? Teddy and Robert. You guys should get each other's information. Direct him. Seriously, these guys are gonna, Quentin Tarantino and Robert Rodriguez in this room right now, y'all. There are, what's the biggest, Teddy, what's the biggest challenge for a filmmaker in getting something made?
Anything inside of you. That's the only roadblock, in my opinion, is if something's telling you no, that's inside of you. There's really nothing holding back the filmmaker.
Teddy, hello.
Cast me, bro. Typically, the biggest obstacle for filmmakers is money, just getting it made.
Yeah.
You have to get the approval, you have to green light from the executives and the people that have zero vision whatsoever. All they're trying to, is anybody watching the studio right now? It's amazing. It's trying to get something made is so hard because it costs money. The ability for me to pitch something right now, the tools that I have at my disposal is so easy. I can go and shoot a proof of concept with the thing that's in my pocket. It's insane that we can do this. Before, for you to shoot a proof of concept could have cost you tens of or hundreds of thousands of dollars. Now, do it in a weekend. There's people that are taking like metahuman stuff and being able to show you at least visually what their concept would be like with their phone. That's incredible. I refuse. What's your name? Who in the back there? What's your name? Huh? Cassie, I want you to know that I don't disagree with you. I support you 100%. The notion is what I take in conflict with. Okay? And I want to encourage you, if you think that what Teddy said, there's nothing that is stopping you. Nothing that is stopping you. What's your art? Painting. Can you imagine 14th century Flemish art? Okay? They would paint depth by painting up. And then all of a sudden, the Renaissance happened, and we started painting depth by painting in. That was a technological achievement. Now, any artist that said, I refuse, can you name one? Exactly. Because anybody who stopped painting, we don't know about them. It's the ones who go, fine, I'll paint in. Those are the masters that we look up to. Those are the Da Vinci's, the Michelangelos, the Berninis. Those are the artists that we venerate, are the ones that weren't threatened by some technological advancement. They go, fine, I'm still going to make my art, because if I don't, my head will explode. Do you know how much Michelangelo was paid to paint the Sistine Chapel? Get this. The cardinal comes to him and says, Master, we want you to do a painting for us. And he goes, absolutely, of course you come to me. He's not a painter, he's a sculptor. He says, we want you to paint a mural. In the cathedral? No, in the side chapel. On this wall? No, on the ceiling. The ceiling was reserved for students. And he said no. He was offended. How dare you? Do you have any idea? Totally understand. We have another intern down here who's really, really good. Huge fan of yours, by the way. His name's Raphael. If you look just through this door here, you can see him. He's doing something off in the side room. What? Yeah, he's a kid. He's a great fan of yours. We'll have him pick this up, too. Grabbed the brushes, built the scaffold, and began painting the ceiling. Same cardinal goes down the hall through the door, finds Raphael, goes, you're not going to believe this, kid. Guess who's in the other room? The master. What? I know, you're a huge fan. If you look just through this door, you can see him, he's working in there. And Raphael was like, this has to be the best thing I've ever done. He pitted the master and the apprentice against each other because he knew they would make their best work. He would get paid the equivalent, modern equivalent, in today's terms of money, Michelangelo, $70,000. Not a bad gig. For hundreds of years of the most recognizable painting. It can't be about the money. It'll come and go. It's the ephemeral nature, and you will learn to hate the thing that you were passionate about and that pulled you out of bed every morning if money is the reason why you do it. Heard? Cool. How are we doing?
We're doing good.
Okay.
On that a little bit, like I was thinking about making things and getting together with your fellow creatives, joining together. A friend of ours recently, Neil Newbon,
oh my God,
got together the Pixel Pack.
Listen, I am straight.
I've heard this before from so many people. What are you going to say, Troy? Finish your sentence.
If Neil Newbon and Ben Starr looked at me, I'd be like, well, all right, gentlemen, here we go. Everybody has a little bit of gay in them. And Neil just like, it's just me and you. I love Neil so much, and I believe that he's a paragon of the industry, and I believe that he has the shoulders to support and carry a lot of what this industry, the direction that needs to go. He is a fervent artist. And as well as Ben Starr, I think I look at those two humans right now. Abubakar Salim as well is just a renaissance man. He's an incredible storyteller. He's an entrepreneur. He's a dedicated artist and father. These are the people that I look at right now as far as like male roles that we have in video games specifically, and they are the beacons of light that everybody should be looking at. Their talent is undeniable. Their passion is inexhaustible. Their vision is inspiring, and they're devastatingly handsome. So have you seen, everybody see the Square Enix thing that Ben started on Instagram? Come on, dude. Did you see his shirt just kept getting more and more unbuttoned? I was like, damn it. I did something with Nolan. I was like, we look like old dorks. Ben Starr is who I thought I looked like on camera. Anyway, you were mentioning Neil, my boyfriend.
Troy's boyfriend, Neil. I wanted to ask about the Pixel Pack because so many of my lovely friends were in the Pixel Pack. When it got released, I was like, yes. What's it like to be part of that? What did Neil... and also, what was the call like? Did Neil text you, call you?
Neil hit me up and he was like, hey, dude, we're going to do a picture around the Game Awards. Are you down? Can you show up for a picture? I was like, bro, homie's working. And I was like, yeah, you know what? I'll do that. And then I showed up on set and I was like, whoa. This is a big deal. He goes, yeah, Entertainment Weekly's doing this. I'm like, bitch, I would have worn something different. So it was truly a surprise. And Neil was able to do that because he's a consummate. His passion is infectious, and he was able to convince Entertainment Weekly. Was like, you should do a feature on these people. And so not only was he able to convince Entertainment Weekly to do that, but it's like herding cats, like wrangling all these actors around the same time, and we did it in multiple locations at multiple times. It was as big of a shoot as any Annie Leibovitz, variety shoot that has been done. So he does deserve all the credit for putting that thing together.
Did you guys see the Pixel Pack thing that went out? Yeah.
And by the way, I just want to add one addendum. It is spotlighting those specific artists. It is by no means exclusive to those artists. It is simply shining a light on this artistry and this media. And right now, that is the only headlines you hear are contentious. And I believe that it's. I want to pull the spotlight back to the art and away from the commerce. We can replace factory workers, we cannot replace artists. And the more that we represent ourselves as artists and not factory workers, then we will go further in this business. And it's, again, I have to caution myself about saying go further in this business because I don't want to be a part of a business. I didn't wake up to say, oh, I hope I get a 401k as an actor. I woke up because I was like, I have to do this. It's like a fart. I can't hold this in. I got to let out. It's going to explode out of me. I'm going to vomit if I don't do this.
Never heard art's like a fart?
Art is like a fart. Get it out. Don't hold it in.
Is it raspy? Is it gassy?
All of it. All of it depends on what you're consuming. But if you're an artist, make art. Cassie, make art. Paint. You got to paint today. Find a canvas and a brush. Make art today.
It's very true. Like, there's so many iterations of the 9-to-5 job, and it took me a while to get to what I'm doing now. But when I was in my 20s, you're told you can't do that. You have to do this.
Or do it this way.
Or do it this way and go this way. And you're right. It's like your body kind of moves towards the thing it has to move to eventually.
Water seeks its own level.
Yeah, absolutely.
Water seeks its own level. And man, I am here to rock the boat. That is what I want. I'm a disruptor. I hate using like buzz terms and synergy and all that or whatever. But I am here to rock the boat. I am here to do the unexpected. I can't remember who said this, but it was, a cat is the most interesting thing on the stage. Have you ever heard this? You could put Meryl Streep on a theater stage and you put a cat next to her and everyone's going to watch the cat. Why? Because you have no idea what the cat's going to do. The cat is the most interesting thing on the stage. I want to be the cat. It's like, I have no idea what the cat's going to do. It could sit there and do nothing. Is there a cat on stage?
There is. There's a cat there. Yeah, there's literally a cat there.
Everybody watched. I saw this guy go, bro.
It's on the shelf.
Dude, 100%. Who's been watching this cat the entire time? I had no idea that was there. You did nothing for me, fish. It was the cat.
I feel bad. Troy's up here going, guys, listen. And you're like, yeah, the cat's there, though.
Oh my gosh. I could not have planned that any better. That's amazing. Who's a kitty? Who's a baby kitty?
We were going to name the cat during the Baldur's Gate panel, but because you've mentioned it here, maybe we should name the cat now.
All right, name the cat.
Shout some names out.
Joel, you dark human. Joel, no. Who says something else? Abby? My God. Did someone say cat? Sarah?
Wow, there's a lot.
Someone said Diogi? Diogi?
Neil, somebody said Neil.
I'm sorry, Neil wins.
Okay, Neil.
That's just, Diogi's a close second. Any cat named Neil, Greg, Gary, or Philip.
Or Keith.
Or Keith. This is my cat, Keith. So.
Naming.
Oh my God, this is why I shouldn't have 3 coffees before I do a panel. All right.
All right, so.
Go ahead.
Can we agree that the cat's called Neil?
Yeah.
All right, we've named the cat, you guys. The panel's successful. The end.
And this fish
okay.
is named Ben. You understand why. It's the only fish with a hairy chest.
Before we get to fan questions, I wanted to do a little fun round. Let's do a little fun round. It's just an either or of leading roles or leading people in films.
Okay.
You got to choose one.
Okay.
No thinking.
Okay.
Ferris Bueller or Marty McFly?
Ferris Bueller.
Okay. Ellen Ripley or The Terminator?
Ooh, Ripley.
Oh! Peter Venkman or Ron Burgundy?
Wait, Peter Venkman?
Yeah.
Or Ron Burgundy? Peter Venkman.
Okay. Patrick Bateman or Ash from The Evil Dead?
Ash.
Oh, all right.
Wait. Ash in Evil Dead 2.
Okay.
Chainsaw hand. Go ahead.
The Bride or Travis Bickle?
The Bride?
Yeah. Kill Bill?
Oh, The Bride. Okay.
The Bride
or
Travis
Bickle.
Bickle.
Absolutely.
Okay, got it. This one might be difficult.
Are you looking at me? Are you talking to me? Absolutely.
Indiana Jones
Indiana Jones.
or James Bond?
Indiana Jones.
All right. Okay, let's get to fan questions. There is a mic right here. Please stand up and do not be shy.
I just wanted a guy named Michael to stand up. 3 people got that joke. She goes, "There's a mic right here."
Yeah. There's a mic right
Hi,
here.
my name is
Sorry,
Mike.
Yeah, you missed it. They missed it. They missed it. They missed it. Right, we're going to try it now. We're going to try and get through all of the questions. But
Sure we are.
Hey, we got through the last ones.
Did we?
Yeah.
Okay, wait.
So I will ask this of you guys. 1 question each, please. Not double questions or triple
All right,
questions.
Teddy, go.
All right, speak right into the mic because it's quiet.
Say, this is a little bit difficult for me. I got the vertically challenged. So I wish that I could talk to you for hours just about spirituality and deconstructing faith, but unfortunately I do want to focus on acting specifically. As a fan and a performer, I know that I've connected with characters of yours. I'm sure everyone in here, definitely somebody wants to ask how to get into voice acting. I'm sure you could take a shot and get arrested for public intoxication from how often you get asked that.
He's clever.
I wanted to ask, from a spiritual, personal perspective, aside from the Phoenix incident,
Why?
I'm sorry. What character did you identify with the most, and what was the process like in bringing that character to life?
Oh, God damn, Teddy. That is the gig, by the way. If I don't identify with the character, then I shouldn't be playing it. And the only bad performances that I've done are the ones where I've taken the job because of the money and have not identified with the character. I should have gone to somebody else. For a long time, I thought I was going to play a character. I should play a character. And there's a lot of people that do that. Daniel Day-Lewis plays a character. That's not me. I synthesize that character through my experiences. And it's me, who is it, Meisner? It probably says acting as if, yeah, imaginary circumstances. I am the most remedial academic actor you'll ever meet in your life. I'm just now discovering Meisner and Stanislavski and all of that. So all of my knowledge is experiential and through the good graces of people who are willing to forgive my transgressions. But I did not come up through theater. I did not come up through, but now I understand the principles of those and how important they are. But part of that work is not being rehearsed, but being prepared. And do you know who the chemist Auguste Kukule is? Not yet, but I will. In 1865, there was a chemist who was, yes, you are, you get ready, boy. And this goes to any artist. I'm going somewhere with this. Auguste Kukule in 1865 was trying to discover the chemical compound for benzene. 15 years, whatever, he pined over this. And one day he told his assistant, I'm going to take a nap. And he lays down, he has a dream, and in this dream he envisions a snake eating its own tail. And he wakes up and he goes, I've got it. And the assistant goes, well, how do you like that? 15 years of work and you just needed to have a nap. And he goes, you don't understand. Visions come to prepared spirits. It wasn't the 30-minute nap that did it. It was the 15 years of hard work. And too often I think that actors put the focus on the 30 minutes of work, memorizing lines and where am I going to stand and what's my mark, as opposed to the 15 hours or 15 years that they need to be able to turn it on, turn it off. And if you find me on set, in between action and cut, I'm a goofball. I'm over with my stunt people, I'm over with camera, I'm over with crafty, doing whatever, and just having fun. But the second that they call action, there is nothing else that exists. And that, to me, is my process, if there is one. I have conversations and collaborations with my creatives, with my directors, with my writers, with my cinematic directors, with my animation directors. Those are the people that I want to pull from, and then they set me free. When they put me in a box, that's where we have problems. But that is my process, is to come in and be open and empty to anything and be all the possibilities that present themselves. That's my process.
Thank you, Teddy.
Cheers.
Thank you, mate.
What you got, homie?
I guess my question to you is that, well, I'll start off with this, is that I've noticed over the past couple of years is that when you tell a story that's well written, but it has small or medium-sized problems, if the writer does things that fans like or wanted, the fans will either like downplay and act like the problems aren't a big issue. But if you do something that fans don't like or don't want, then they extrapolate and make the problems much larger than they really are. And from my perspective, I think The Last of Us Part 2 is like a genuinely great story. If the first one is a 10 out of 10, 10 being perfect, 9 excellent, 8 great, 7 very good, 6 good, and 5 okay. I would give Part 2 either like a 9 or a 9.5 out of 10. There's like some small issues, but I feel like the internet, because you did something that emotionally hurt them, they made all the problems like a lot larger than they were. So here's the thing, in 2020, COVID hit when the game released, so you were only able to see the internet's reaction, and the internet's like a lot more toxic than in real life. So people have to actively come to panels like this. So my question to you is, what year did you start coming back to panels when it was safe from COVID and stuff? And when you met fans, how many of them actually liked the game when talking to you in person? And as the years have gone by, has the hate died down and more people are like, oh yeah, I actually really like this game? Or is it still just as heated as ever?
And what's your name?
My name is Landon.
Landon. How old are you, Landon?
23.
Are you a writer?
No, but I was considering getting to animation specifically for writing, but I'm currently doing electrical engineering. If I did do writing, I would draw and write.
I was just trying to track. This kid's way smarter than me. There is still hate, and there is still hurt, and I love it. I love it. Not because of some like weird, what's it called? Who said it? Masochism is a good word, or it shows we had impact. And I think that too often as artists we can be obsequious and search for the favor and sucker for the approval of our audience, as opposed to, did you feel something? I hated it. And I'll sit here on the internet for 6 hours and write paragraph after paragraph of why I hated it. Success. Success. I made you feel something. I don't care if you liked it. I don't care if you liked it. Did you feel something? I hated it with every fiber of my being. Success. Great. It's when they go, it didn't really land for me. Failure. Now we did a bad job. So what I have noticed over time is that most people, when the world opened up again, there's a large percentage of people that started playing and they got to a certain moment in that game and they stopped. And I feel for those people so much. I'm like, oh, keep going. Don't stop now. Keep going. That's life. We can't stop when it gets hard, guys. We can't stop when it gets hard. We love good stories. It's coming, hold on. Every good story has a little bit of comedy, a little bit of drama, a little bit of love, a little bit of loss, a little bit of tragedy, a little bit of triumph. That's a good story. Why would you stop down here? You're going to miss out on this. You can't stop. Just don't stop. It'll be over soon enough. It'll be over soon enough. But don't stop here. Keep going. You're going to miss out on this. I know you may be here, but you're about to be here. Don't miss this for this. What I have noticed is now you can do that. Well, what I have noticed over the years is that more people have finished the game, and they come to me and go, now I get it. I'm like, yeah, now you get it. So people are grieving, and people, when they're grieving, do crazy things, and they feel crazy things. And not crazy bad, but just like dynamic emotions. So I have nothing but empathy, nothing but love, and nothing but care for even the people that hate it. They're grieving, and they'll get through it. Dig? Thanks, Landon.
Thanks, mate. Thank you. Thank you very much, Landon. Cheers. Hello, my love. What's your name and question?
Hi, my name is Caesar. I had a question. I thought it was kind of cool what you said about Jeff Buckley being someone that when you found out they died, like it hurt. I feel like I felt the same way with like John Denver or Buddy Holly. And I was just kind of curious, like, was there like a CD in the car when you were birthing Joel as a character? Or was there like a soundtrack?
Yes. Wow. Great question.
And like, what did it do to you?
So I would, before we had Gustavo's incredible, I remember the first time I heard the theme, I was over at my friend Mary Elizabeth McGlynn's, and Neil Druckmann texted me, he was like, hey, I have the theme, you want to listen to it? I went out to my car to listen to it, and I was like, oh my God. But for the 2 years or year and a half before then, every morning I would drive from my house, get on the 405, and I would drive to set, and I would listen to Nick Cave's The Assassination of Jesse James. What was it, A Pretty Little Thing? Ugh. And that to me was the closest that I could find that would, there's a lot of people, like Christian Bale talks about this, how music is his in. As a musician, I'm definitely very, like even today when I was writing, there's certain music that I will listen to that will help inspire. I love score. Score is one of the things I listen to the most. Symphonic music and score. So I'm always thinking in those terms as like, well, what's the music that's playing underneath this? Is there music that's playing underneath this? So yeah, that was the song that I carried the piece of concept art of Joel and Ellie at the fire laughing. That was the thing that I looked at, and the thing that I listened to was that song from Nick Cave's score.
Thank you. Great
Cheers,
question. Hello, my dear. What's your name and what's your question?
Hello, my name is Jordan, and I just wanted to ask, you voiced so many and played so many different characters over the years with so many different personalities and backstories, etc. And I know you said how you identified with the characters to get the best of how you play them, but like, is there more to like, especially if you're like, let's say you're playing them back to back, and they're two separate characters, how do you like get into the mood of whoever you're playing, if there's anything beyond that?
What are you going to do 5 minutes from now?
If this panel's still going on, I'm here.
Huge if. Do you know what you're doing tonight?
Gotta drive back home.
You have any idea what's going to happen on the road?
Well, it's Arizona, so hopefully I don't get into a crash.
There you go. You don't know, man. Stay in the moment. Stay in the moment, dude. That is, I had an actor come up to me on set the other day. It was something I'm directing, and she said, I just really want to make sure that I'm building this arc for this character. I said, arc is an editor's job. Yours is to play the moment. And my assistant, Jacob, was there with me. He goes, I was like, that's kind of good. An arc is an editor's job. Yours is to play the moment. So on Monday, I'm going to do this one job. And then actually we're on this whole shoot. So Monday through Thursday, I'm going to be living in this new project that I'm directing, and I am just like eat up with it, and that's all I can think about. I'm looking at storyboards, looking at the script, I'm breaking down things, I'm talking to my different directors, working with my first AD, working with stunts, all these things. And then Friday, completely different gig. Scramble head brain. Matter of fact, yesterday, I was, in the morning, I was working on one project. In the afternoon, I was working on a different project. You have to do it. Just play the moment. Just play the moment. Where is this moment at? If I understand the character, Mickey Rourke gave me the best advice, not me directly, but indirectly, gave the best advice for actors ever. He says that if it's written well and I understand the character, the dialogue should fall out of my lips. And that's exactly the way that it should be. So that's the job, man. As Harrison Ford lovely said, he goes, that's what the money's for. The money is to do that job. Thank you, Jordan.
Thank you.
Cheers, man.
Safe drive back, Jordan.
Yeah, please.
Safe drive back. Hello, friend. Name and question.
Hi there, my name is Charlie. Nice to meet you. As you can maybe tell, I'm a bit of a Persona fan, so I'll direct something there. It's been almost 20 years since you played Kanji in Persona 4.
Why do you gotta bring that up?
We're
Has it
old.
really?
Almost. Looking back on the character in the years, I know you've talked about it a little bit at some panels about, his personality and some of the sexuality stuff. Is there anything you wish you could have done more with the character or emphasized a little more looking back now?
I think that I did everything that I could with Kanji. I think there's a part of me, a lot of people, first of all, I am honored that I got to play that character, and it taught me a lot. We use the word ally a lot now, and that's when I realized I could be an ally. Growing up the way that I did, I was taught and told actively, this loves this, and that's it. And then all of a sudden, I allowed myself to move outside of the perspective of my childhood and be witness to this also loves this a lot. And to be able to see the purity, the dedication, the maturity and health of this kind of relationship as well, I had to reconcile my childhood with my adulthood. And Kanji, when we went into the first session, I was like, oh, okay, we're going to play at Faye. And so I had a lot of fun, and I could see the writers and producers kind of, that's great, for several pages of dialogue. And finally they go, hey, I kind of want to revisit some of the shadow kanji lines. I was like, oh, okay, what would you guys, first of all, the kanji in the real world, amazing, love it, it's exactly what we're going for. Shadow kanji, it's not funny. I'm like, these are hilarious. He goes, yeah, but if they're funny, great, but we're not trying to make jokes, we're really trying to have a conversation. And I went, oh. And I forgot the kind of conversations that we could have in video games. And so once I approached it from there, then the game came out. You have no idea how many people have come up to me. And we're like, dudes, thank you. Thank you for helping me understand something about myself and for articulating into words what I've been feeling. And this is the thing about music, about film, about books. They're not prescriptive, they're descriptive. We should be going, that's exactly how I feel. Not telling me how I feel, showing me how I feel. Do you understand the difference? And when games or movies or books do those for us, those ones we're drawn to, is like, oh my God, I've seen that, I've met that person, I've experienced that. It's not prescriptive, it's descriptive. And that was 100% descriptive, because I have so many people that come to me and are like, thank you for finally putting into words exactly how I feel. And so now I can look and go, I am an ally. But I will say this, if they ever do anything more with that character,
there's a rumor going on, there's a remake coming. So.
If there is, if they ask me to step up, I would be honored. But I would love to see what happens when someone from the LGBTQI+ community plays that character. Just to see what it looks like that's different. Cool? Thank you, Charlie.
Thank you so much. Hello, my love. Right into the mic if you can. What's your name and question?
My name is Ashley. Thank you so much for being here, first of all, Troy.
My pleasure.
I really want to say that your perspective on art and just everything that you've said in this panel is really inspiring. As a fellow artist myself, I really appreciate that, so thank you, first and foremost. As an actor who's played so many original characters like The Last of Us, Booker in BioShock, but also has played so many iconic characters like most recently Indy and Batman, and so many iconic characters that have already been in the fan base that has been played by other actors previously. What's been your inspiration to kind of either pull directly from their work to also put in your own kind of spin and twist on these iconic characters to make it your own?
Great question. I learned a lot by Joker, because I realized that if I approach this character of, all right, well, let's make this a little bit of this and a little bit of this, I'm trying to create a recipe, and that's not what we do. It's not measured out that way. It's especially with a character like Joker, it's chaotic. It's just, I don't know. And the second that I stopped observing myself, and I let that be the job of somebody else, and I say, I do this a lot because of camera, sorry. We're here, and we're going to be, well, then we'll get the reverse. Teddy knows what I'm talking about. I think that all I could do, Mark Hamill, I watched him do Joker, and I was like, that's not fair. Effortless. Me, there would be some sessions where after an hour or two, of a 4-hour session, I'm booked for, and I don't get paid any less. Amanda Wyatt would be like, we're done. Like, okay. She goes, we're in Dominican Republic, which means we're in diminishing returns. And I was like, yeah, I hear it too. It's just not good. They're like, great. And they were committed enough to the quality that they'd be like, I got to pull you, kid. And it's like the coach walking out to the pitcher on the mound. That's what they call him, right? I'm not a sports guy. And so I had those moments where I'm sweating profusely, my voice is gone and everything, and I just watch Mark Hamill. He just does backflips, and it's so easy. But I realized it's like, all I can do is what I can do, and I love Mark as a human, but when he did the Joker, that's just what I heard I was like, that's it. That's exactly what I've been hearing in my head the entire time. I grew up with 66 Batman, and Cesar Romero was never really the print for me. And then I got Jack Nicholson. I was like, oh, that's cool. But I heard Jack Nicholson doing the Joker. And then all of a sudden, here comes Mark Hamill in 1991. I was like, or 90. I'm like, oh, that's it. That's what I've heard in my head the entire time. And so that's what I just leaned towards. Obviously, with Harrison Ford, no one, I've never walked around my house going, hey, babe, what's my Harrison Ford sound like? I've never done that. It wasn't until Tom Keegan called me and said, I like you for this role, that I ever even considered trying to do that. So for me, it's like, you'll never hear what I can't do because I didn't get the gig. You know what I mean? Somebody else did. And I would not want that for me at the expense of the character or the quality of the project. I think I've done a lot. And I think I have, of those kind of characters, there's one or two that if I was given the opportunity, I'd step up. But beyond that, I'm honestly far more interested in what other people's takes on characters are, even more so than mine. I have fun playing characters, especially helping create something new. There's one or two that's kicking around that'd be like, if I got a chance to do that, I'd give it a stab, and if it worked, then you would see it. If not, you would never know. Thank you, Ashley.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Troy?
How are we doing?
We're going to do speed round.
Speed round, go.
Okay, name a
Yes.
question. Let's go.
Blue, 42. Once, but she was, never mind. I'm not going to finish that joke.
Hey there, I'm Robert. It's a pleasure seeing you, Troy.
You as well.
Congratulations, by the way, Indiana Jones. It's a recent release, and I've recently finished it, and I was watching it, and it's just really so much like a lost Indiana Jones movie. It manages to hit all the perfect beats that you would expect in an Indiana Jones movie. Great casting of yourself, obviously, as well as the guy who plays Boss, the guy who plays Tony Todd, rest in peace. All the performances, the script, everything managed to be so good with that. And Ford was so flattering to you at the Video Game Awards late last year as well. It was so great to see that. When you were working on your Harrison Ford / Indiana Jones, did you have any chance to speak to Ford at all when you're working on the character?
No, I was all on my own. And I will say this, Harrison was incredibly kind and incredibly gracious and did not have to say the things that he did, and I'm eternally grateful to him as just a fan. In some ways, my preparation worked against me because, again, there's some other actors that are very well rehearsed, or they're much better adept at that kind of preparation. I woke up every morning and I watched Raiders. I walked to set and I was listening to John Williams' score. At lunch, I was watching Temple of Doom. I'd go home and I'd order room service in my hotel room and I would watch Last Crusade. I'd fall asleep and rinse and repeat every day. And I found out that was killing me. And I showed up on set one day and I popped. And the stress was too much. And I didn't Christian Bale on the set, although I know the true story of that and that he gets misaligned for that. But you mentioned Tony, and I really owe him a huge, a big debt, because he was the one that reminded me to just shut up and do the character, man, and not take it so seriously. And he got me drunk, and really, really drunk. And I came back on set on Monday, and Tom Keegan, our director, looked at me, and he just put his hands on my shoulders. He goes, just trust that it'll be there. And I realized that Harrison Ford never woke up on set and said, okay, you're Indiana Jones. And Indiana Jones doesn't wake up and go, you're Indiana Jones. They're just two guys. One of my favorite lines that Indy ever says, he goes, I'm making this up as I go. And that's what I had to realize. That's Indiana Jones. It's not the finger wag. It's not the voice. I'm making this up as I go. So the second I dialed into that, that's when I became Indiana Jones.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So Troy?
Yes.
We are very bad at speed rounds on this stage.
Terrible.
So I'm going to say you in the Indiana Jones t-shirt, then this lovely person here in the black, and then, I'm sorry, everyone else is going to have to sit down. Don't look at me in the eyes. I'm sorry, everyone else is. I hate this part. And let's speed through these ones.
Cheers.
Right. So name and question, please.
My name is Anthony. Great job as Indy. Is it harder to feel inspired to play a character that's been done before versus building a character from scratch?
No, I think the challenge exists in the same. It's like, who said it was like your take on it? It's like, I'm obviously going to do my take, right? But to me, there's something about Indiana Jones that clearly has been masterfully played by one actor, but when I had an aha moment, I was like, I know who this character is in this story. Now, there's other people that have played Indiana Jones. I can play that character, but there was one, it's my secret, none of your business. But when I found out this thing, I was like, or when I discovered this thing about Indy, I was just as inspired as any other character that I've ever done. So it's about finding that thing in that character that alights and ignites that passion inside you. Is like, I have to play this character. If you don't, I'm going to do it in my backyard. Cool? See, I can do it.
Wow, guys, round of applause for that sort of faster question. You did it, Troy.
I can take direction. All right, my love,
Troy.
bring us home.
Hello, I'm Shannon. I have a really basic question, I suppose.
Cool. Way to end it. Bring us home, my love.
We're not going deep. Who is an actor or celebrity that you have met and you felt star-studded and you were fanboying so hard and you were excited to meet them?
Harrison Ford. I'll tell you this quick story. I kept it together, y'all. I did a really good job. So before we walked out, I met him, and he said, hey, there he is. Hey, there he is. And he shook my hand, and he said, I said, thanks for being here. And he goes, you did a great job. And I said, well, they were big shoes to fill. And he goes, ah. I said, 11 and a half? He goes, yeah. So I got to catch him off guard. We walk out on stage, and you saw the rest of it. But what you didn't see was what happened backstage. We went backstage, and we did like a little step repeat to take pictures, and we're standing there. And we're just taking pictures, and people are flash, flash, flash. And I said, you know, this is the hardest job I've ever had to do. And he goes, really? Why? And I said, I had to be you for 3 years. And he goes, huh. But it sure as hell was worth it. And he flashed those baby blues in that smirk. And I just said, please let this be on the highlight reel. That's me freaking out, for sure. You guys have been incredible. Thank you so much for spending this time with me.
Guys, it's Troy Baker.